stifling smoke. In the room I trapped myself in so long ago, where the blinds remain forever closed. Will it change? I hope so, 'cause I have spent the past 4 years trying to find some peace of mind. And I think I might have found it this time.
Did not want that in there. Hey, everybody, we are live. We're back live. We were having some issues before, so I was like starting to record episodes and putting them out. So there's actually an episode that people go watch that I recorded last week that's out right now on the page. So if this is your first time here, or if it's not your first time, make sure you check the links below. All of Anthony's links are there. You can check out Hobart News, the Facebook. You're sure you probably already follow the Facebook page. You're pretty popular.
Oh.
You're killing it. You're like a local celebrity.
If you say so, I guess.
You got the Facebook group, Facebook page, VIP page. Make sure you donate, subscribe, support this guy. He does a lot of cool stuff for the area. You're grown, man.
Yeah.
You were the most requested person ever.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. I do think that I'm very boring. I mean, all I'm doing is really showing what's going on, but I guess it's just I got the accent maybe or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. the Cole region accent.
Yeah. So we're also too, if you check the links below, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We do have a merch page, which I think you should look into Teespring too, because you have a lot of people who want your merch, and Teespring is absolutely free, and you just upload your logo.
And then they make the shirts for you.
Yeah, and then you get a cut or whatever it is.
Oh my God, that sounds great. Honestly, because the biggest thing for me was just the sizes, and then shipping it to people was just it's so tough putting in and doing it, and then it ended up being $15 per shirt, and then it was $6-7, and then it was a $25 donation got you a T-shirt. So it just became So that's actually, I will look into that.
Yeah, but when we end here, I'll show you the page and show you. It's super simple, and if like I say, I take any logo you have, I can take and resize it and do anything you might need to help you out with it. But I don't make a lot of money out because I reduce my prices so low. Because I'm more or less like I want people to.
I would rather people just have the shirts.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's easier.
And people want it, man. I've seen all your streams. Be like, I need a shirt. I need a sticker. I want a this will do all of it.
Yeah. I just ordered 1,000 stickers, and that was so I got them. So, but it would be nice to have the T-shirts covered then.
Where do you get your stickers?
Print Place.
Okay.
Is it Print Place?
I use Sticker Mule every now and then.
Oh, I think I think we saw that before. That was a lot of my price range, though.
Yeah, I
had to go with the cheap one.
Always subscribe to them on YouTube, and they always put a deal on where it's like 100 stickers for $20.
Ah, nice.
And then I only snag them, and then I have 100 stickers to hand out.
Yeah.
I work on a budget too. But yeah, so let people know your first name, last name, and what you're actually doing here, and then we'll get into this.
Yeah. Well, I'm Anthony Procopio, and I do Hobart News. So basically, Hobart News is I would just say it's live events in Northumberland County or anywhere that I'm covering, and mainly it's emergency response, like first responders and stuff like that. But I try to specialize in not being biased because I don't really like politics. I don't really like politicians.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, and it's just like I kind of just want to show people what's going on. But I guess what has gotten it to the following is probably, I don't know, just because I try to be real as much as I can when it's a live video. So if like something crazy happens, I try to react.
You get a genuine response.
Yeah, and some people don't like that. Like I was getting somebody who was like, "You gotta stop cursing, man," and I'm just like, I understand, but when you're, I was in a couple standoffs, and then flashbang goes off. I mean, what's the how you normally react?
Oh
in those,
shucks.
Yeah. Oh shucks. But it's just I just try to be real as much as, and I just kind of got thrown into it. I mean, I wasn't particularly excited about doing news or anything like that, but now I feel more of like not an obligation, but like a duty to let people know what's going on, and I like doing that. And that kind of came out of it indirectly.
So how did you fall into this?
Okay, it's obviously a ridiculous story. So I was working at WKOK just as like a daytime DJ, like 2-4 hours a week, whatever. And one day I'm just up at like it was literally 8:30 in the morning, and I'm driving down to the Turkey Hill that is infamous now. This is how everything got started. So I'm driving down, and I see two people like fighting in the street, a guy and a girl. And I leaned out the window, and I was like, "Yo, get the hell out of the road. Like, I'm trying to go get gas, whatever. So they go into the parking lot and it seems like it's over, whatever. So I pull in and I'm trying to pull in to get gas. And there's like a guy, one of those Coke delivery trucks. And he's like kind of in my way and whatever. And I pull over and I see they're still fighting. And then like 4 or 5 other people get out of cars and this huge scrum just like busts out. And I was just like, you know what? I was mad. I was just like, I told these people not to do it in the street. Like, I'm just blowing you up, putting you on Facebook, whatever. So I whip my phone out, take a video, and I'm just like, I literally said, just another day in Shamokin, bud. As they're like rolling on the ground.
Is that where you're from, Shamokin?
Yeah. And it just...
You went to school and everything there?
Yeah, I went to school at Shamokin, live in Shamokin. Well, I grew up in Cole Township, which is like the same thing. I grew up on the west side of town. Then my parents moved up to Tronet Road. And then when I lived in Philly and did a bunch of stuff after college, but then when I came back here, now I live in Shamokin again, right by that Turkey Hill. So I'm authentic too, because some people are like, are you even really cool, Region? Like, I really am born and raised.
It's funny, man, because I'm in Schuylkill County, right? So Schuylkill County is its own, it's its own monster, right? Uh-huh. But like, we have our areas of Schuylkill County that are like, man, like, don't go in that town. But Shamokin makes us look all amazing.
Like, it's certainly interesting.
Didn't Shamokin make Tosh.0 twice?
Yeah. I don't know if it might have been twice, but I know that we made it for when they burned down the Dunkin' Donuts. And then they, of course, interviewed the 3 worst people they could in Shamokin. You know what I mean? And then
that's the best part about our local news.
Yeah. So I bet you they interviewed 25 people. And there was probably some normal people who were like, yeah, there was some smoke and I saw a fire. Yeah. And it was pretty crazy. But of course they get, well, I was getting cold coffee and shit. You know what I mean? And of course, then they put
you should incorporate that into your live streams.
Yeah. What? Etna?
No, just going up to like
people.
Survey the scene and be like, who can I interview?
Oh man!
And just do like, hey, I'm live on Facebook. Can I do a quick interview?
And just super dangerous.
Do on the spot interviews.
Yeah.
Your streams will blow up.
Oh man! there was a couple times when I was doing this, like when I was getting used to it in the beginning, like after I did that Turkey Hill thing. Then I got caught in a standoff, actually, an armed standoff in the middle. And
in the same Turkey Hill?
No, actually, like 2 blocks down, like on Market Street, right by the Turkey Hill. Some guy had guns. Yeah, so as it was developing, there was a couple times there was like fires, and there would be people that are called firebugs that always want to
go watch the fire.
Yeah, and also incorporate and say what the firefighters should be doing. Or anything like that. There was one like bad fire. Yeah. And I'm filming, and there was this family, and they were just giving play-by-play. This one guy was just giving play. Oh, they shouldn't be doing this. They should be. I used to be a fire chief, And then people were loving that. They were like, "Please, could you put this guy on camera?"
Yeah.
So I was like leaning like over, and he knew that he was. So I've done that a couple of times, but I'm always hesitant because you have no idea what somebody's gonna say. You don't know what's gonna happen.
It's so funny. I grew up with my father and his brother were both firefighters. Now, I would have technically been second generation if I would have done it, but my dad and his brother are 11 years apart. So it's like almost like because my brother and my dad are like not even the same class because 11 years apart from each other is different, 2 different things.
Yeah.
But growing up, being on fire scenes and being like that's exactly like everything you're talking about. That's why I'm laughing because that's exactly what you experience and you go through. I tragically lost a house when I was a kid, and I remember standing in front of my house watching my house burn down, and I just remember like people behind me like, oh, there goes another scumbag house up in flames, and I was like a 16-year-old kid, and I just turned around and started swinging.
Yeah.
Because I was like emotional. Like,
yeah.
It was I mean, Schuylkill County fire scenes can get crazy.
Yeah. It's literally like, I mean, the one that I was just at in Bear Valley, I mean, there's probably 200 people. It's almost like a show.
Yeah,
I say that into my head, like, weird things I say in my head when I'm live. I'm like, this is like kind of a show. There's like 200 people watching. They're watching all the firefighters do their job. I'm filming it. This guy's coming up to me and pushing me, trying to get me out of the way. I mean, like it's like a show.
You always have the fire police who think they are the police of the world.
I mean, I've been doing it since November of last year. I've never had an issue with any fire police, anybody. This was the first time I've ever had an issue. I'm good with all the fire chiefs. I'm good with all the police. I tell them all the time, you need me to move, you need me to go somewhere. tell me, but I'm just letting you know I'm going to be here as soon as the fire trucks are here if I hear the call.
Yeah.
So, and they know that, and all the other fire police always are fine. I don't need, that was just, honestly, everybody's like, you need to press charges. You need to do this stuff. I mean, honestly, I laugh at the end of the day because it's just like, I'm not that worried about it. It's just like, just the coal region in me was like, put the phone in your pocket and throw down, bro. Like, it's time. And I'm just like, I mean,
it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Because he's probably like 78 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the other thing too. He was obviously like an elderly man. And then it shows people are messaging me saying he did this before to my brother. He did this before to this person.
Oh yeah,
so, just,
every now and then. Well, what happens is usually the fire police guys are the guys who wanted to always be chief. But they're like, no, you're going to make sure, like, we're not going to put an air pack on you. Yeah, we're just going to make sure you stand over there and just, like, make sure no one gets close. And it's kind of like the kid in, like, what? I'm not a baseball fan, but, like, isn't, like, left field where nothing ever happens.
Well, right field. But that's true. Yeah, if you play right field, that's like so, they put the worst kid in right field.
Yeah, so usually the fire police are the right fielders. The right fielders of the world.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, and he just probably needed to feel important that day.
Yeah.
And he just came up to the kid with the phone out. Well, he didn't, because I seen the other video. You kind of keep your phone low. It's not like you're up.
Yeah, and that's also what I try to, because a lot of people will say to me, why don't you get like a legit camera? Why don't you get a tripod? I do have like it's a thing
because your whole thing is going live.
Yeah, and also too, I also like to be discreet. I'm a very private person. I had to like reveal my name after a while, and people are like messaging me. I never knew you were Hobart News. Like because like I'm a hermit. I don't like people involved in my personal life. I have very few like actual friends that I'll go to hang out with. I'm a family guy. I'm with my family all the time, and I like to be private. So now as this goes on, I normally don't wear my press pass when I go out, but I knew this was going to be a big fire. So I felt just in case I'll throw my press pass on, but normally I'm there in a hoodie and shorts and a sandal. And yeah, my phone is at like chest level because I don't want people think like, here I am gawking, look at me. It's just like, I'm trying to document this, show what the first responders are doing, because I've always been so blown away when they're like cutting in with saws and like that fire, even that fire last night, when I got there, there was one cop and me, and I went live and the flames start showing up in the back. And I was like, 4 houses are gone. 4 houses are gone. Those 4 houses they're all screwed. And I cannot, and then on top of it, there's no road behind Bear Valley. So they're climbing on other people's roofs and then trying to get to the back. And I'm saying to myself, there's no way they're going to stop this fire. People are commenting and saying, there's no way they're going to stop this fire. It never spread to the second house. I couldn't believe it. And it's just like, that stuff needs to be documented because nobody understands. Everybody's just like, oh, there was just like a fire up there. Then they drive back the next day and they see minimal damage. And they were like, no big deal. But I saw those flames start showing up in the back. And then they're cutting through and they're doing this stuff. And it's just crazy, pulling the siding off. Like, I've never seen that kind of stuff in real life. And they deserve that respect to know, like, these guys are volunteers.
Yeah.
And they're not being paid. And they're doing, like, some of the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so that is all I'm trying to do is document that and then just be like, yo, don't go to the street, but also like look at what these people are doing. And that's the sole intention of Hobart News really was just like, look what's happening. Like, this is crazy. Like that's all it was ever was for me.
Yeah.
And then people always like, you love Trump, you love liberals, you love Biden, or like whatever. And they try to, you love Joe Jorgensen,
I like
whatever.
good people.
Yeah. I'm just a like, I like good people. Like, I'm a people person. I like people. I want people to have freedom to do whatever they want. And, just like that guy, he could have came up to me at the Bear Valley thing. He could have just came up to me and said, hey, man, I need you to move back for the fire, please. And I would have said, hey, man, I'm press. I'm allowed to be wherever I want. But if you need me to move, I totally can move. Or I would have just said, hey, man, and then, but the first thing he did was he grabbed the like, not my arm, but like I had a hoodie on, and he grabbed that part of shirt and he kind of just like pushed me and he was like, move. And I just turned around and I'm like, hey man, you don't have to touch me. You don't have to touch me. And he goes, I'll touch you all I want. That's what she said. Yeah. And I was just like, that was really funny when he said that, because I listened to the video. He goes, I'll touch you all I want. And I was like, that's so funny. And then, and I was just like, no, you actually won't, because like, you're not going to, like, it's just not going to happen. So then he like grabbed me again. And then one of my neighbors was there,
The big
Gilbert.
dude,
Yeah,
the big
dude.
dude stepped
Yeah,
in.
dude. He's the man, dude. He's just the man. He's just like my neighbor. He came in. He's like, "You're not gonna do that."
He
And I
came
was
in
just
like the big show.
yeah, he really was. He really was. He was about to choke slam him down the thing. So, and like honestly, when he did that, the demeanor on his face changed immediately.
Yeah, when the 6'4"
Yeah.
dude steps in.
Yeah. Because I mean, he went after my phone once, and I'm just like, dude.
And then he went through the other dudes to go at your phone again.
Yeah. He went. Yeah, because then the guy goes, "You can't do that." He goes, "Well, I'm just going after his phone," and then he like went after it again.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had a secure. Like, I wasn't worried about it. But I mean, that's I don't have many expensive things, and that's the only thing I could do for Hobart News.
Is the
So
phone.
yeah. So then he was like, "I'm gonna go get the cops." So then I see him go get the cop or the fire chief, and I see them. They're like going like this, and then I see him. He got taken off the scene. Then they pulled me over, and they're like, "Listen, man, like you got to give a statement to the police. Like he's done this before, and we need like if there's video evidence, I need you to like send everything."
Yeah.
And he was like, "If you want to press charges and do all that kind of stuff, you can do all that." And I'm just like, I'm not interested in any of that. I'm not even really interested in him like losing his position. I know he's been doing this before. I hate to be like that person to like, you know what I mean? Like he was down.
He could run a Bellini line for the fire company. He doesn't have to be on scene anymore.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. He can handle the phone. Like, you know what I mean? He doesn't have to be fired. It's just the thing for me is just like it could have been avoided. I ultimately don't want it to happen to somebody else. Somebody like me, I can handle it. It's not a big deal. He didn't push it past far, like touching me, or going after me like 4 times. But like, the wrong person in a coal region is gonna knock your teeth out, man. Like, and I was saying, I'm like, I'm so mad. Like you should have, And it's just like, but part of me was like, yo, I'm about to put my stream down and it's about to go down. Like
Yeah.
it is about to go down. Like,
Emotion.
yeah, I'm just gonna push him. Like I was just like, I'm just gonna check him down the hill. You know what I mean? Like the things that go through your head, and
It's
then
like checking Bob Barker.
yeah, exactly.
And then he beats you up.
Yeah. Damn it, Bob. Yeah, that's so good.
If anyone watching, I know we got some people viewing. We do have a chat. If you type in the chat, it will pop up. We will see it. So if you have a question about something you have a question about for Hobart News, please put it out there. If you are watching, please hit the share button too to let people know that we are out here and exist.
Smash that like button.
and hit the like button as
like
well.
they say
yeah.
in Tim Pool. Smash that like button.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dude, I was just saying we never talked about Tim Pool. I like him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like how you brought up too about the firefighters in that respect because, once again, growing up, my father who's been doing this a long time, like the training that they go through now is unbelievable. It's almost to the point where there's too much training, which is not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
But the only problem with that is there's so many hours of training to be involved to become a volunteer firefighter now that they're losing membership.
Mm-hmm.
Like membership in fire departments are going down.
Actually, to go with that, when I was originally doing this, I thought maybe I'll become a volunteer firefighter because it would be awesome to be like, I'll get a helmet cam and like do all this stuff. And then when I looked into how many hours and stuff, I was just like, wow, I'm really not going to be able to do Hobart News if I do this.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess I'm in the position that I'm in, and this is just what I fell into. So I mean,
the hour because it used to be just you could be any Joe Schmo can walk into a fire department. They'll do a little in-house training, and then they'll put you in a burning building, and that's not the case anymore. The minimum requireships are really really high. So if you are listening and you want to be a firefighter, they need help. Like all of the local departments, because one of the things that I always kind of took for granted growing up is like my dad would leave his warm, safe house with his family at 3 o'clock in the morning to run into your house that's on fire to make sure you're okay. Like that's like a big deal. Like when people say like, oh, there goes the fire, it's like, no, that should be respected. Like what they're doing is unbelievable, and they're not getting paid. You know what I mean?
That's honestly insane. There should be a tax fund set aside in Pennsylvania or America that,
and they don't get much tax breaks when it comes to fire departments and stuff. It's kind of crazy the stuff they kind of, so like when you see your fire local like the boot guy where they put the boot out in the road and the guy stands.
Oh yeah.
And the crazy thing is more people die collecting that money in a boot than they actually do on scene of fire calls. That's like
just because they're standing in the road.
Because some guy hits them with their car or something
and not
crazy.
paying attention.
Yeah. It just goes to credit that, like how little injuries are not injuries, but like death we have on scene because the training is so good.
Yeah, you guys are on top. I mean, I've seen a couple of crazy things.
Row home houses are one of the toughest. Like I've already heard statements from like New York City Fire Department and like people who do fires in main cities, and they come to this area and see these like the way the structures and the homes are, and they're like, wait, you if a fire happens here, you stop it? And they're like, they're like, that's unbelievable with that because a lot of people don't realize is a lot of all these row homes have what they call a common attic. So the best way that fire starts is if it has space and open air and all that. So if I'm not telling you to do this, but if you go up to almost any one of your houses in School County and you put a hole in your closet in your attic or your roof, you can literally look down the rest of your block.
Yeah, yeah.
Because all the attics are one common open space. So when fire gets in there and then you have air that takes it down
just
the rest of
spreads
the
it
block,
across, yeah.
it just sucks it through. So, and then like I said, now somebody has a bad roof down the block. So
Yeah.
say your house is here and the other house is 5 houses away that's abandoned and no one took care of it, never did any property damage, or and it has property damage, or it has a hole in the roof. So now your fire starts 5 houses away. That common fire hits, the fire hits that open space, the hole in the roof 5 houses down from the abandoned building. Now the air sucks everything out,
Yeah.
and now you just took out 4 more houses that probably weren't going to be taken out because of that abandoned property. Like, so there's so much involved in these local fires that it's like really cool. So like someone like it's an outsider who goes there to videotape and do what you're doing, but still have that respect is awesome to hear.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, that's kind of the goal of it all, is to show what they're doing. But to your point, you could actually see in the video last night of the Bear Valley one, 3-4 houses down, you could see that happening in the attic. There was smoke starting to pour out of a house, like 3 houses down, and I was thinking, I was like, what the heck's happening there? Why is it smoking down there and not at the house next? It was just the way the wind was blowing, or like you said, that the air was being
Sucks through.
sucked. Yeah, I mean, also to go with that, they do row homes, and then also the things that I think are crazy is when there's an ATV accident or a brush fire, and they're taking these buggies out there and doing all that kind of stuff on top of dealing with row homes that would basically be city stuff. So they're dealing with everything. So they have the brush fires, they have
dive rescue.
everything that happens in the Susquehanna River, all that kind of stuff, and then on top of that, you got homes that were built in like 1920, row homes that are like burning all over smoking.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's the combo of what's going on here. So I would say, obviously maybe besides like California and the West Coast, like where's another place where it's crazier to be a firefighter? You know what I mean? Where you're kind of got to be able to do everything, a little bit of everything.
And then we have a whole another branch of firefighters that all they do is brush fires, like wood fires.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's, and credit to that, we don't really have that much out here, But it's nuts, man. It's a whole nother world. It's like anything. If you get involved in a music scene, if you get involved with a theater scene, fires, like there's more to everything than you know, because you just kind of take it for granted, or you see it from the ground level. But like now diving into it, you're like, holy shit, there's more involved in this. Like we live in a world right now where, police officers are under fire. And listen, they're just like there was good firefighters and bad firefighters, the same thing with police officers. So if you can go on the scene and show an officer doing a good job at his job, that's a good thing for people to see.
Yeah.
Or if you see an officer doing a bad job, it's a good thing to prevent that from happening again. You know what I mean? So
that's the whole point of the video with the guy at Bear Valley. Like the only reason that I didn't want to, but I was forced to release it. But if I'm going to release it, really the only goal is...
you're live streaming at that
exactly.
point. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So
you have to your whole video down.
At that point, all I want is just him to not do it again, and not to do it to the wrong person, because that's not going to work out well for him, because he's a little dude and he's an older man, and like, that's what I'm saying. Everybody thinks, oh yeah, like if I'm going to knock his teeth out, you do all this stuff, but like you can seriously hurt somebody just by shoving somebody. They fall, they hit their head the wrong way, they're dead. Involuntary manslaughter, boom. You know what I mean?
You have no idea.
Yeah, you have no idea what's going on. So like that's where I said like the coal region of me is like, put your phone away and like knock this guy's teeth out, and it's just like, yeah, but that you just don't, everything that could happen once it gets past that point. So he was trying to make it physical. That's why it's just like, man, you don't need to do that, because nobody here wants that. Nobody here, I don't want that, so that ultimately I just want it to just not happen again. So if that just means he's done it a bunch of times, he's just got to sit and do the phones, then you just got to sit and do the phones, man.
Yeah.
Because I've never had any, there's no other fire police that have ever did that to me. You know what I mean?
So do you like at your in your house, like do you just have like a scanner going all the time, or do you just sit and kind of man a scanner? Do you have like a portable handheld scanner?
I honestly just use, it's called Broadcastify, and it's a network on the internet that just has every scanner in the world. It's unbelievable. And there's 2 different lines you can listen to. There's Northumberland County Fire, and it's just Northumberland County. And then there's Northumberland Union and Snyder, and it's all 3 of the calls together. And sometimes you'll get stuff from like Perry County and neighboring counties. So I have that up, and then luckily, Northumberland County has it's called a CAD incident. It's just a very basic website, and that's where you see all my scanner calls, where it'll say like ALS, assault victim, and like the address, or like fire. I get that directly off. It's just an updater thing that they use for the dispatchers, and it'll just say, assault victim, West Deward Street, Shamokin Street, Shamokin, and then
that's a crazy thing too. When people go for dispatching, another kind of thing that a lot of people don't realize. So when you're calling in a fire, like, or a dispatcher calls in a fire, if I don't know if you ever experienced when they call in a fire, if you listen sometimes on the broadcast, or if you listen to the radio, they're actually telling, it's like code, but they're actually telling them what what block they're in. If it's coming from the back of the house, the front of the house. So so the first truck on scene knows their closest hydrant, if it's coming out north side, south side, east side, west side, and where to put themselves right away to stop.
Position,
and then the next truck's coming in, knowing the first, and then the person was, we're on scene. We're like,
I always hear that when they say unit whatever on scene, and then they say send rescue 93 down the other end to whatever. And they're immediately on that. I hear it all
because
the time.
The thing too is like, if just an example too, like if you hit a hydrant here, now if someone who's not paying attention goes and hits a hydrant down the street and brings their hose up, you can take the water pressure off the truck that's in front of the house, and now they're sitting with their piece of apparatus in front of a house with no water. So like they all have to work together to hit certain hydrants to make sure you're not
sucking from the same hydrant. Basically.
It's a crazy, like it's a really interesting.
And then you figure on top of having, Shamokin or my area or just this area in general is just so old. Like everything's so old. Everything's just, so just all the water systems and everything are old, and the homes are old, and it has to complicate everything.
Well, the cool thing with your page too, with Facebook, like especially with your group page, is now you can have people from all over the area, like kind of going live and saying, or saying, hey, there's a thing here in my
going on.
And so you're not only being updated by your scanner, but like your community's helping too. Which is really neat.
And also too, at the end of the day, I don't want to take away from any other local news. I know other local news doesn't like me, and that's fine, because if somebody was beating me at something, I'd be mad too. But no, I'm just kidding. But, I mean, it is the truth. I mean, I understand. Like they whatever. I understand.
There's only 2 local news sources I use.
And
neither one of them are major broadcasters.
Because
I like you guys, and I like Skook News.
I and that's what I'm saying. Like for Skook News, or even like WNEP or WKOK or News Item. I mean, that's kind of why I did the Welcome to the Jungle of News, because it's just like, I personally can't share their articles because I can get reported for that. And I think that might have been what happened before when I was having issues with Facebook. I'm thinking it was because I was sharing other news articles from and my intention is just, hey, I didn't cover this, and I'm not going to sit here and write a full report and basically plagiarize what you wrote. So why don't I just share your
credit?
Why don't I share your article, and then I have so many followers, so I'm going to push 1,000 people are going to click on this and go read and see what's going on. And they're going to say, oh, Skook News, they kind of know what's going on. So maybe I should follow them too.
It just works together.
Yeah. And it's just like, I wanted it to be a network of everybody, but some people don't like me. So it's just like, so then I figure you go into the Welcome to the Jungle of News, and everyone can just share their stuff and let everybody fight. And it's just like basically a user generated feed. Now, granted, you have to be approved, because at first I had it where you didn't have to be approved to post. Oh my God. The
Nonsense.
things that were, it was ridiculous. So I had to obviously do that. So sometimes, but I mean, everybody, there was people like posting live videos from Bear Valley from different angles last night. And do I have any problem like letting them have their video up? Like, no, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm fine with whatever. I'm fine with sharing. There's another guy named Tony Bendel. He does stuff from Sunbury. He's like a firefighter and stuff. I always share it. He was at a fire today in Sunbury. I was asleep because I was up till 3 a.m. because of Bear Valley.
My chat, it's not showing up on the normal side. So I do have some stuff going on here. I can.
Oh, so we didn't. Oh,
so here's the first question. What has been your favorite story you've done so far?
So favorite story or favorite live event?
Yeah, favorite live thing you've covered so far. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry if I neglected you, as I wasn't watching the.
Oh no, we'll get to you now.
We got you.
Yeah. So I would say it's tough to say my favorite because everything happened so fast in the adrenaline. But I would say the most moving thing was the original when George Floyd died. There was an original march the day of the riots. So I went down there and I'm just like, someone said there's going to be a peaceful march from City Hall to the Art Museum. Yes, in Philadelphia. So there was I would say 60, 70,000 people is probably the most people I've ever been around in a random gathering. And they all kneeled at City Hall and then walked to the Art Museum. And everybody in their apartments, like, walking around was, like, holding, like, pots and pans and doing all kinds of stuff. I'm getting chills thinking about it. And it was just a very powerful moment to just be there and not a participant, just an observer. To see, like, wow, look at all these people come together. And then that night, they destroyed the city, like, from the top down. I mean, it was different people. So that experience was probably my top experience because that was just insane. Then I'm watching people go into the Gucci store and, like, throw a rock through and, like, taking all the stuff out.
It sucks because those, let's just say 65,000 people who marched earlier in the day.
It ruined everything that they said.
Then at night, a bunch of people went in there and damaged and vandalized. And then those 65,000 people who went and did things peacefully and protested the right way are now getting lumped in for people who are out there just to cause destruction and stuff like that. So when people think like the Black Lives Matter or when people protest or like, oh, they're all bad, that's kind of on the fault of the media too, because the media doesn't say, no, we were here earlier and everything's been great. This is a different incident and these are not the same two people. Now, every organization, whether any organization, has their extremists on either side. So you have people who do things the right way, and you have people who don't do who do things what they justify as the right way. Because I'm not saying they're wrong, I'm not saying they're right. Because who am I? I don't know know their motives. But I personally have I was like, man, look, taking out a local business isn't stopping anything.
And that was also for me. It was seeing both sides of it in one day. So that was also
like the extremists,
to see everybody marching, it being super peaceful, to them burning a cop car and the cop standing next to me. I'm live. There's like 5,000 people watching me, and the cop saying to me, "Hey man, go behind that statue because my shotgun shells are about to explode and I don't know where they're gonna go." And I'm just like, "What?" And then boom, you know what I mean? And the cop car's on fire, and it's just like. So I went from that, and then 2 hours before to like this amazing peaceful movement, and then also.
How did that cop get out of there?
Well, no, he was out of the car at the time. Like
I'm saying, like no one just kind of they let him go. They just wanted to destroy his car.
Yeah. I mean,
that's good.
You could literally watch the videos. They have like over a million views at this point. They're in my backlog of videos. It's pretty intense. They just had cop cars lined up, and then. The cops would park and then go, stand with their riot gear. So then they would run to the parked cop cars and start flipping them and burning them and stuff.
Yeah.
So their weapons were still inside, and the rounds were. I'll never forget. I was standing like this, filming it, and I wasn't realizing I was getting burns on my arm because it was so intense, and the heat was so intense, and it was hot, and like I didn't know what was going on. I had my arm showing, and like the flames were like cooking. I had this crazy sunburn. I took a picture of it. It was unbelievable. So it was like. Not a first-degree burn, but like really, really bad sun poisoning. But it was from flames, the heat from a burning cop car.
Terrifying.
And then on top of all of that, to say like that, why it would be, I guess, my quote-unquote favorite story is I saw how the news was, didn't know at the time, but how news was going to shape from that point forward. Some people were going to say everything's peaceful, and everybody else was going to say that it was a riot. And I saw people forming their opinions in those comments at that point. And when I did the night one, when everybody was looting, Anonymous ended up helping me sharing. They shared my video, got a bunch of people listening, on it. I had like maybe 15, 16,000 people watching me at once, just watching this happen. And I could just see the opinions forming that later are what they are now. Yeah. What I see in every post. If I say, oh, I'm going to Milton, there's a Black Lives Matter protester. Oh, I'm going to Harrisburg, there's an Assemble for Freedom, which is like a mainly conservative.
Anti-maskers or something.
Yeah, anti-masker thing. You know what I mean? And it's just the same opinions. They just show up. And like, that's where that all began. And that's really shaped the political realm of
everything's politicized.
Yeah, and that's kind of how everything is at this point. So that's where it was, that was probably the most important thing I covered. Nothing... I'm trying to think of something was actually fun, like a fun thing that I've done.
I think a lot of people. I think it is kind of important when people go out and videotape. Like it's definitely a double-edged sword. Like so when you see two kids, like you're a high school kid, you're videotaping two kids in the street fighting. Like it is good for evidence to have it there. But like when 15 people are sitting there videotaping and no one's trying to stop it
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
that kind of sucks.
Yep.
But on the same token is like if you turn on the regular news, you're seeing what they're putting out for the news, and it's like
It's not true.
it's not true. But then you go and watch some guy's live feed from his, and he's literally in the neighborhoods that the news doesn't want to go to, and you're actually hearing people's legit conversations because they don't care if they're cursing or not because it's on social. Like you're hearing the raw emotion, the raw like it's a different and like. I don't know. It's a different experience, and then you have the people who are like when you watch the live and you think that everyone in there is like for it. Then you have people like, yo, what are you just like? I watched this one in the Lancaster when the gentleman got shot, and they went to go light the car on fire, the cop car, and 3 people ran over with like bottles of water, and they were putting the cop car out. They're like, you're not like we live right here. You're not lighting this on fire.
Yeah.
Like so, it's interesting to see like that dynamic of like. Because I think everyone kind of groups everybody like they what's the terminology like they I don't know like they just
I always
they
say
box
that
everybody.
people want to put everybody wants to. It's either you're a liberal or you're a conservative, or you're for Black Lives Matter or you're against it. You think that they're like the worst hate group in the world, or you think they're the best. There's no middle ground. There's middle ground to everything.
100%.
Yeah, it's just everything. Like Trump, Biden, all that stuff. I mean, I personally think that they both stink. But I mean, I can understand. I can understand people saying, "Oh, I like this from this person," you know, and vice versa. But it's just like you can't sit there and be like a blind. Oh my God, this is the answer. Either way, because I mean, I know we got to vote and we got to do whatever we got to do, and you got to pick somebody. But you know, it's just. I just feel like America's just digging in further, like two sides where it used to be like we come together and then there's we always said the extreme left and the extreme right, like look at those idiots. And now it's like the extreme left and the extreme right are they becoming is it becoming the more normal?
It is.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, like having as many conversations I've had with people sitting at these tables between the shows I do, I feel like majority of the people do feel like, man, the extremists on both sides are fucking nuts for the most part.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of feels everyone kind of feels like they're in the middle of the line, like and has the right opinions. And I have faith in humanity. I am a huge Batman fan too, so you know what I mean? But it is getting to the point where the media the media and our leaders will say, and I'm not just picking on the president, I'm picking on leaders in general, all politicians. I'm saying politicians and the media are literally causing a war between humans, and they don't care.
No, they don't care. It's ratings.
And all they see is a bunch of poor people that are like that maybe white, black, Hispanic, Asian fighting each other, and they're just like, this is going to be great television.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And we're just kind of all like. I know the extremists on each side kind of say, well, you're a sheep. Listen, you're both sheep. You just have different shepherds.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
that's a good point.
And the funny thing is if when you talk to people, they know they're being played by the media. They know they're being played by their politicians. But instead of being like, or like, for example, when people collecting these unemployment checks, like, look at these people collecting unemployment checks. You don't realize, like, Amazon didn't pay any taxes this year. They're like, but I don't like the fact that he's getting an extra $400. Like, be mad at your company. You know what I mean? Like we know we're getting shit on from the top, but instead of like,
we shit on each other.
We just pick on each other. It's like,
and try to blame the problems that they caused on each other or one side of government. When it's like you do realize that they're just expanding government all the time, and whether Republicans say they want small government or Democrats, well, Democrats usually want bigger government, but everybody wants bigger. Anybody that's a politician wants bigger government, more resources, more money, more ability to do things, more tanks to be built, more trades to be made. They want more government. Nobody wants less government. That's an actual politician. They're working. They're all part of that system. They want more and more government. But, you know, it's just that's where we're at. So, I mean, you know.
What is we'll switch gears here a little bit. What is the funniest thing you've seen while covering a story? I like to interact with the people, to get the people involved.
Yeah,
here.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing I ever did with that girl fighting, I left this out, but I guess I'll leave it. I'll bring it in. So when they were fighting and I was like, wow, like this is ridiculous. Just another day in Shamokin, and they were fighting. So I uploaded the video. And it gets like, say, 60,000 views. And then I get a message from Facebook saying this was taken away because of nudity. And I was like, what? Apparently one of the girls' boobs fell out in the middle of the thing. She had like a hoodie on and like fell underneath it. And I like wasn't really checking the comments. And they're like, oh my God, like check out the girl's boobie at like 12 seconds or like whatever it was. And I was just like, oops. So that was probably the funniest thing. I'm trying to think if there's any. There's been some. There's
Your
been
first at bat and you get a boob.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm trying to
Nice.
think. Yeah, most of the time it's mainly serious things, but yeah, that was like one time where I just like you need to go back and I looked at the video and I was like, oh my god, that is a boob. That's a boob.
That's a whole boob.
Yeah, it's a whole boob,
Boobs,
man.
boobs with a Z.
Yeah, boobs. Yeah. So that was probably. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that kind of tops that because that was just like everybody's like, oh my god, I saw a titty, whatever. And I was just like, really? Because I wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention to the people like beating the crap out of each other. So yeah, so that's probably the funniest thing.
Yeah.
If I think of any other ones, I will think, but that's the first one because it was like I said, it was the first thing I did.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I want to give credit here to Jacqueline because this is actually a question I was going to pose, but we'll give her the credit for it. Are there any plans for the future of Hobart News, like expanding, or the way you think? Are you okay with the way things are now?
We go through back and forth. I have a good. I'm a musician, so I run festivals with this guy named Lee. He's in my band. We do everything together. He does all the graphics for Hobart News, so the ridiculous pirate hat and like all that kind of stuff. He's done all that, so I don't even get the choice. He just makes all those ridiculous things. He's like, "Oh, here's your 29,000 followers thing. Like, you have to post it. It's you as Rambo, whatever." So
I have somebody on my team who's a fan of your stuff, and they do amazing art. Maybe we'll work something out. We can get you a cool little logo done.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because right now it's just literally my face, like whatever. But,
yeah.
So
I know you're listening, by the way.
But so one thing I'm afraid about expansion and like doing something that would be like supporters only or anything like that is just that people come to Hobart News because it's a free outlet to see what's going on. And then it's just like as soon as I say, well, I'll get another associate that will do things for me at this time, and I'll get this person to cover this when I'm doing that. The best thing about Hobart News is when something's going on, people just send me pictures, and I'm like, do you want credit or not credit? And then I just post it and then let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So really, the way we expand is people are more alert and send more and more things and let me know about. Now I can't handle the amount of stories I get.
Yeah.
But the problem is like I'll go through, I'll do my best to get through the messages, but as soon as you bring something else in, say, oh, I'm going to parent with WNEP or I'm going to get a job at WNEP or I do anything, it's going to complicate the message. So
and then you lose your creativity.
Exactly.
And you can't be that real, and you have to you're pigeonholed to what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I can't not react and say the word shit sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, holy shit, the fire, holy shit. Like I was in Ashland, which is near here. I actually drove by right by the high school. There was a guy like, they were throwing flashbangs in, trying to get him out, and you know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't ready. So when that flashbang goes off, I cannot not say holy shit.
Yeah.
I can't because it's just like, dude, like I'm standing here and like it sounded like a bomb went off. Am I supposed to be live reporting that was a bomb? Hobart News, and it's just like, is that what you really want me to do? Is that really what people want now? Because if they do, they can just go watch WNEP. They can just go watch CNN. They can just go to the news item. They can get that stuff. So why don't I just try to be real, just keep being real, and then how things expand, I kind of just want to do it as we go other than being like, hey, we're just going to be supporters only, or it's going to be, if you don't donate, we're not going to do the news, or we're only going to do certain things here, or I'm going to start doing like, I'm live at a fire, Bear Valley Avenue, but not even showing the fire behind me. Mm-hmm. A man came up to me and threatened to push me and then grabbed me. ESPN, and it's just like people are over that fake. Every time I watch the news, like my mom watches ABC News every night, and it's like David Muir, the funeral director. COVID-19, are your children at risk? Coming up, Donald Trump says it once again. I think it's a hoax. I hate everyone.
It's all clips.
Yeah, it's just like, it's so ridiculous. It's just propaganda. And then it's just like, starting tonight with the most deadly disease for children that has ever been thought. Not like polio or like tuberculosis or like.
It's just fear-mongering.
Yeah, and it's just like, so I don't think people want that anymore. So,
they do, but I think there is people who do who seek it, but that's what they're used to.
Yeah.
So what you are is a breath of fresh air when it comes to that. And we do have a thing in our area which is like our coal region charm. You know what I mean? And I think
I don't know if I call it charm, but that's fine.
it's charming.
Yeah, I
to
guess.
us.
Yeah, it's
like,
charming. Okay, that's a good way to put it.
And that's
It's
what you
charming
bring.
to us.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I try to do here with our thing. Like I talk about pro wrestling. I talk about like it says interviews, but it's more like a conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I try to bring like I have people who are like, you would never get sponsorship because you curse but like. Or they say your interviews are 2 hours long. And
Wait, can I just interject? I will just say the most successful podcaster of all time definitely curses on his podcast. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Rogan definitely.
But
I mean,
he started already famous, which
that's true. That's true. Yeah, fair enough.
Everybody listens to famous people's podcasts. They don't listen to like everyday Joe.
You got
ones.
me on that one.
Yeah. So, but the thing is like, if I were to take this interview, right, and I didn't do it live and I videotaped it, and then I cut out what I thought were the best 45 minutes and made it a 45, 30-minute interview, like, who am I to say what somebody else would get out of this interview or what I get out of it?
What you think is more
So
interesting
I
than
think
the
it's
other,
a full, raw conversation. I think people sitting down and having conversations is important. Like, we're two people who've never talked until today before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if people are watching this, they're like, oh, they probably know each other for a while. Like, and I think that's where the like-mindedness of us is kind of showing, which I think is important for people to see.
Yeah.
It's good to have dialogue between people.
Yeah. I mean, the tag for Hobart News is real news for real people.
Yeah.
That was what Lee said that, and I was like, dude, that's genius. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want, because that's what it is. It's just like, why don't you just go somewhere as this hippie and just point your camera at stuff and just be like, whoa, man, check out these firefighters doing an awesome job, man. Well, obviously it's in my coal region. Yo, Bob, watch these, firefighters, look what they're doing. And it's just like, that's all it really is based off of. So it's just, that's what people want to see. People don't want to, I don't think people want to read reports or look at pictures anymore, because everybody has a phone. So everybody has the ability.
Everyone just reads the headline anyway.
Yeah, you're 100% right, because sometimes I do it. Sometimes I share articles and I only read the headline, and then I'm like, oh, wait, I better go back and
then you open it, it's like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, and it's like some scam thing.
I love that.
I stopped sharing. I only post stuff up from my thing now, because it just makes it easier to the content that I control.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, our thing is interviews with everyday people. Everyone has a story. So like, this turned into like kind of finding the gems in our area, like things that like maybe people know about or don't know about, or things that I want to dive more into. But like the first couple episodes were people's stories of coming through a drug addiction, or people coming through really bad depressions, or people who had really insane stories. But it is very hard to keep those stories going, because we do live in an era where people judge. And people people are like, I'm afraid to come on your show and tell you my story because I know people are going to see it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of polarizing.
Yeah, but then the thing is, every single person who's done it, after the show is over, they had a influx of love, being like, you're so brave for telling your story. I'm glad that, like, your story helped me get through my situation. So that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish. And I think on a news aspect, I respect what you're doing. I think it's cool, man. I dig it.
Yeah. I also, to go back to the overdose thing, I try very carefully to post when there's an overdose and try to show people how much it's happening. And, I don't know what to do, because I've lost so many of my friends. I say it, my friends know, I say this all the time. I lost so many friends, I had to make new friends.
Yeah.
And, and I still have friends that battle with it. And then I have friends that are good, and, all that kind of stuff. And it's something that is never talked about enough. But you're afraid, like we said, with them coming forward, you're afraid that, sometimes I'll post. One time I posted, that there was an overdose, and the person that overdosed messaged me and was really upset with me. And I mean, we ended up making everything okay. But like, sometimes you feel like, you don't want to, I don't ever put the address or who it is or their name or their age or anything like that. But I guess like, because it was a person that did it a lot and they know the street, people kind of knew who it was, or, whatever. So it kind of, I'm always on the fence with that kind of stuff. But ultimately, I always end up posting it and ended up putting it out there. One of my friends, Mike, sent me YouTube videos of him the first time he admitted that he was an addict. Sent me that YouTube video. I sent it to him, and he said the same thing to me. He goes, I got 2 people that said nasty things to me, and I got about 250 that said great things.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's awesome. And I was like, yeah, as long as you can handle the 2 bad comments. So I was like, because that's Hobart News. It's like, you'll get, a bunch of good stuff. I get a bunch of good stuff, and then I'll just get, 2 to 3% of just jerks,
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, the way I personally process stuff especially when it comes to news, is I think like, what if this was my family, or if I had a child and this was my kid, or this is my parent, or this was somebody I truly cared about, and they went through this news story, and it's just like, because it's easy just to look at somebody and kind of dehumanize them and be like, oh, another junkie, or oh,
Yeah,
another
yeah,
piece of
yeah.
shit, or oh, a racist, or oh, this, and you're
Mhm.
like, you don't know anything what that person went through, and even though we're all think that we're different because we have different religious beliefs or different political parties we believe, we're always, just because where we live, we're all kind of in the same mouse race, you know what I mean, the same maze, and we're all one day away from being in the same position, you know what I mean, like our area is big on people getting behind the wheel of a car drunk, or
Yeah.
going out and doing something, or trying something that they don't know they're trying, or going out in one day and someone attacking. I mean, all that can happen, but realistically, the chances are a lot lower than you think. But because most of the main news sources are so fear mongering, like it is good to put like, so what I try to do on my end is like, I'll try to find really positive or cool events going on in the area. So I don't really cover too much news unless it's like really good news, like this person is building a new business,
Yeah,
so you know
yeah.
what I mean, like cool stuff like that. So I like I said, I think you putting like your kind of the boots on the ground and being there is important for people to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also fight with that back and forth of trying to post as much positive things
Mm-hmm.
because and also because there is a lot of there is a lot of negative things that come through with drugs and stuff and shamokin and all that kind of stuff. But it's definitely tough to find a balance. But ultimately, I'm trying to put out like a positive message for all of it, for the overdoses, for whatever it's trying. But it gets misconstrued sometimes. It's kind of tough because people are tough, man. They're my fans are my tough. The people that follow but are the toughest critics
Yeah.
you'll ever come across. And it's only made me better. But it's certainly an interesting experience.
It's looking like we're having possibly technical. Nope, no, we're good. That was just my thing messing up. I think we kind of, Jocelyn, we kind of started that in the very beginning. They asked what made you start reporting, and you
Yeah.
kind of told your story there. So if you want to check that out on the replay, you can check that out. Somebody asked about what happened with the fire police the other night,
Yeah.
and that was something we kind of covered earlier. So
yeah,
if you
yeah.
guys
There's a video of the incident on a Hobart News page. There's also the regular video. There's also I post it. There's also a video of him doing it to somebody else. And the one video I posted is actually two angles. You can see my angle, and then you can see somebody that was like, "Oh man, someone's going after Hobart," and they like kind of flipped up their camera.
Yeah.
So I posted all that. So if you want to see any of that kind of stuff, and yeah, two people basically were fighting at Turkey Hill, and I pulled my phone.
it came out.
Yeah, and and I was also working at WKOK. But when I didn't add this at the end, they fired me because I think it's funny now because at the time I was so upset. You know what I mean? You're upset.
Yeah.
You're upset. I never got fired from anything. I've did work jobs, multiple jobs at Penn State when I went to Penn State, like whatever, server jobs, everything, odd jobs because I was a musician. So I always prided myself. But they were mad because somebody messaged me. It was like, "Yo, Centralia's been covered up. Like, you better go." And I just pulled out my phone, just went live. And then, there was like 6,000 people watching me. And I'm just like, yeah, Bob, I'm just like walking around and they're just like, yeah, are you going to like tell us like what's going on or like what's going on? And then they were like, and you also like said the F word in your broadcast. And I was like, but I mean, it's not like I'm live for like WKOK. And they were just like, well, you got two choices. And at this time we had 4,000 followers for Hobart. It was like, you can either quit Hobart or we're going to fire you. And I was like, well, just fire me then. So they fired me, and I was like, "Oh man, did I make the wrong thing?" And then we're at 30,000. But so honestly, that kind of
awesome.
That gave me a kick in the ass. That was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, dude, if you're gonna do this, I actually like have the
I
thing."
hit 1,000, and I'm like, oh my god, 1,000 people.
But I mean, I mean, to go with that, I worked to my festival, the bands I worked in. My band has 4,000 likes on Facebook. I worked for every single one of those, and my festival has 2,500. And we have about 400 people that consistently come to every event. So that's a small amount of people. So when we, 2,500 likes, like I work so hard for that. So, getting 1,000, doing any of those types of things is an amazing accomplishment. But the thing is that news is just happen. I mean, when I did it, it just happens to be more universal.
Yeah.
I got donators. There a couple people from Africa donated. I've had people donate
Holy
from
shit.
England, Canada, I don't know, South America, Japan. I have some guy that donated from Liberia, and he said, I get limited internet, so I can only go on and see so many things per day. This was during like the Philly riots.
Oh, wow.
And he was just like, so I go on and I look at Hobart News because I know you're on the ground somewhere in America, and I'm seeing what America looks like right now. And he sent me $100 of Liberian money.
That's
like, you know what I mean?
sick.
It was like, so when that started happening, I was just like, yo, this is what I should be doing. You
Yeah.
know? So that's the only thing. I mean, I worked in the more of a niche thing. If you're in more of a niche thing, it's tough to get.
That's kind of where I'm stuck now. Is it's more or less just school county.
Yeah.
I want to reach out and hear people's stories from all over the world, but I'm still trying to get comfortable with my thing. Like I said, this is interview 91, and it sounds like a big number, but it's not. Like it's only coming up on 2 years, so it's like I still have a lot of growing to do. But it's dude, that's awesome. Like fucking, if someone from Japan messaged me.
Yeah,
I'd be like, what?
I would much rather him message me and be like, yo, your band Time Relapse is really sweet. But
Yeah.
I mean, you take what, it's just like, you take what you can get, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I never really wanted, even in music, I only ever wanted to just be able to support myself and be able to support like what I do and the festival that we have now. And then now with the supplemental of like making some money with Hobart News, not really with the driving and everything. I kind of basically break even, but I figure like if I keep growing that, this will eventually maybe become
Well, we're gonna get this Teespring going. You're gonna have
you're
gonna have coffee mugs and T-shirts and hoodies and long sleeves and baby onesies and
a ridiculous coffee mug with my face on it.
wall tapestry.
That's cool,
dude. That's all on the like. There's so much, and it doesn't cost you a thing.
And I was just saying, thinking about it, I actually do that at my festival. I contract this Grim Screen Productions, and they come in and make Threestival shirts, and that's it. There's no, like, they don't pay me to come there, and I don't pay, like, they don't give me money. They don't cut anything. They just come, they make the shirts, they sell them, and I just figure it's a win-win. They make money, they come in, they make money, and people get Threestival shirts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I personally couldn't front the money or want to be handing them out or worried. And then we only do, like, 30 or 40 and they sell out every time. So then we have this nice thing. So that sounds that might be the best thing that we get today is being able to do that, because I was just actually talking to somebody. They were like, listen, I'll buy the shirts for you. I'll send them to people. I'll do all this stuff. I was like, I don't want you to do that. Like, I appreciate it, but like, I don't want you to be meeting random people to like give them t-shirts and like shipping them. Like, there's got to be a better way. Here it is.
I got you.
Whoever came up with that idea.
I've put so many people on a Teespring because like here's the thing, like I don't have the luxury of like setting up like a band or merch or do all that, so this is the easiest thing for me, and like, and it's out of my hands, you know what I mean? It's like, go buy a shirt, you know what I mean? Do what you gotta do,
and then you post the website.
Then you see someone wearing it, you're like, holy shit, that's cool. Well, let's talk about your band a little bit. What's the name of your band?
Time Relapse. I was in two bands. I did a thing with Medusa's Disco for a while.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. That was fun. We like toured the country and did like a bunch of stuff.
What type of music?
That was like high flying, drinking, swinging, rock and roll, like reformation of Zeppelin and the Who. Basically, that's what.
So we played like classic rock.
Yeah. We opened for like Puddle of Mud. We played on the Warped Tour. I guess we had a little bit of punk elements and stuff and whatever. Like, that was fun. So that was like the thing where like I toured. But the real band that I've been in for 10 years that is like my steady Eddie, where, I was just basically fill-in bass player for them. They were like, hey, we need somebody to do this. And I was just like, yeah, I can go on tour for you guys for a year. So that was kind of like a contracted thing. And we're still friends with those guys. They still play our festival and all that kind of stuff. So, but Time Relapse is like, we have 31 albums, I think, now.
Holy
something like
shit.
that. Yeah, over 200. They're all on Spotify for free because like nobody makes any money.
Did you ever go to Bandcamp?
We don't have anything on Bandcamp. Honestly, I don't.
Bandcamp is dope.
I've given up on making money, making music as a musician. I just make the music and hope people listen to it.
Bandcamp, you can still listen to it for free.
Oh, can you? Okay.
So you can go on Bandcamp. I'm trying to get a lot of people in the area on Bandcamp because I think it's good. Even if you're not a musician, I think people who want to support local music should know about Bandcamp.
Yeah, because Spotify absolutely. Yeah. They rob us of every penny.
Absolutely. So you can go on Bandcamp. So, for example, Mahantango, our intro music, their album may be on there. I don't know offhand, but maybe they're selling their album for $5.
Yeah.
You, as the person buying the album, can say, "I'll buy the album for $5, but I'm also going to give them. I'm gonna pay $25."
Yeah.
So like you can do a
Gives
thing
you
on
the
there.
option
Where, it gives you the option to say like you can put more than it's worth on there, or my music's for free. or you could pay $1 for it. Like it's pretty much pay your own price. And I just think it's like if you're supporting local music, like I have $10. What am I gonna? I'm gonna go buy a 6-pack with that. I might as well just support local music. Like I rather support the local music. So I think band camps are a cool thing that people should know about, especially if they're trying to help unsigned artists.
Yeah.
We're so quick to jump on like a celebrity's stream or a celebrity's thing and donate crazy money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like you have all these up and coming people that are working their asses off.
Oh man, I really feel for the people that were. I mean, part of the reason I did festivals and did all that stuff, like while I was in Medusa's Disco, and in Time Lapse before, we were running festivals on the side because we needed that to fund our tours because it's so hard to make money as a band. I feel for bands right now, like I still play, like we're playing at the Heritage and Shamoke and Time Lapse, just like a dual acoustic thing, and like we will play at our festival, and we're actually doing a Tool tribute at our festival. I can't wait to do that with another band,
Nice.
and all this all kinds of cool stuff. And but it has to be so hard during the COVID times to be a band because we had so many bands that had 6 month tours planned for March to October.
What genre of music is your band now?
Time Lapse. We do a little bit of everything, so it's really hard because I was.
Is it original and cover or
yeah,
all original?
It's all original.
All original.
Yeah, it's basically the way it works is the guy that's in my band that writes the songs. He's gonna hate me when I say this. Nah, he's not gonna hate me. He doesn't care about anything. But he's like the light and I'm the dark. He kind of has this. He grew up suburban Jew in Philly and just it just kind of had it a little bit easier than growing up in the coal region. So when he came to the coal region and like we met each other at Penn State, and he was like, like he would write music and it was kind of like light, like maybe like Jack Johnson, Incubus-y kind of stuff like that, like acoustic Dave Matthews Band stuff like that.
Then he got dirty.
Well, I basically said to him, I need you to listen to Tool, and I need you to listen to these stories of me like. Doing goofy stuff and getting, bad things happening in my life. And I don't want to get too deep into the bad stuff, bad decisions that
Coal region young mistakes.
Yes. All the bad decisions and the continued bad decisions that I made probably until, about 2 years ago. So he would basically watch me spiral out of control, watch people die in my family or my friends pass away from overdoses. And he would just see me spiral out of control. And he has just written music about.
He was like the artist who followed Hunter S. Thompson around.
Sure. I mean, I would never compare myself, but to me, that's why I love Time Lapse so much because it's a record of my life and what I felt. Because he was just like, dude, like I can't believe you're going through this. Yeah, I wrote the song about it. And then, so that's the music that you hear of Time Lapse that has lyrics. The stuff that doesn't have lyrics, we do a lot of instrumental stuff. That's all written by me, just doing trying different crazy techniques. And I'll play drums for a little bit. You play guitar, I'll play bass. You do this, and then we just like mash it all together. So
sounds sick.
Yeah, so that turns into like weird jazz, psychedelic metal, like I don't know, all kinds of crazy stuff. But the stuff that Lee writes is like it's like acoustic Tool. That's what I would always say. It's like dark. It's like dark acoustic. It's like dark acoustic Dave Matthews, but like real messed up. Like lyrics, you're like, is this talking about a heroin overdose? Like, yeah, he is.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's kind of like what it is. And that's kind of like our influences. I would say like Dave Matthews and Tool, and we kind of like merge them together. And I love Pink Floyd too. So.
Yeah. Aaron Bevan is in the chat saying. Nice to see you guys doing the interview. That slaps. So Aaron is the one of the many who messaged me saying this interview has to happen. So it's awesome to see him in the.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, what's the story behind the mask you wear in the band?
Ooh, I guess
Jocelyn, you're killing it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this.
I should have you come in and sit for an interview.
This is a great question, but. Eventually this will probably come back to bite me, but whatever. I joined Anonymous, the hacker group, like a long time ago, and just was like.
Do you wear the?
It's the Vendetta. It's a formation of the Vendetta mask. Yeah. I have a bunch of different masks. I have masks that people made for me because it became a thing. But about 10 years ago or 10, 12 years ago when we first started, I was really into Buckethead, the guitar player. So I got a KFC bucket, and then I used to get the white mask and I would wear it on my head. And then I saw the V for Vendetta movie. And I started reading the comics, and then I was just like, oh my God, like I'm going to join Anonymous, this hacker group. I'm going to be so cool. So I got like a VPN and like went in and like became ordained and like did all this crazy stuff.
shit.
And like, you know, it's nothing crazy. I'm just kidding. Like, it's nothing crazy. But it was just like,
They
I
do
thought
some pretty positive things, though.
yeah, they do. It's way different now than it was even back then. It's way more of like an open source, just kind of like people just like, hey, do you need this? Do you need that? Here's information. The only time I ever used it was to get my Philly video out. I was like, hey, can you guys help me do this? When I was down there, I was like, it's about to go down. Like, cop cars are burning. Could you help me? But so I was just super into that. So I got
Anonymous, if you want to sponsor the podcast, I'll put a little mask in the corner.
I was just gonna say they're probably not happy about me saying this. I'm still. It's called OP New Blood. I'm just a new blood. I'm just basically in. That's it. And I just did the requirements.
I'm into their shit. I like what
Yeah.
they do. I like when they expose people for being scumbags.
Yeah, So and I mean, it's just like any group, it gets lost and all that kind of stuff. I just kind of was curious and just wanted to participate and just like see what's going on. I don't ever want to do anything with the information that I gain or do anything. I'm not really interested. I just like to be informed and be able to like access this stuff and see kind of like what's going on in the underbelly of the
Now
internet.
you just listen to Joe Rogan. It's the same thing.
Yeah. and so it really just came from I was at it and I saw it, and they don't sell the authentic mask anymore because it's like made with like rosier cheeks and it's made more cartoony because people were like committing crimes with them. So I got one of the authentic masks before they discontinued them, and then I just took black electric tape and X'd it out and wrote PX, which is like a thing that I used to see in this weird dream that I used to have, and made it like so that his mouth was silenced, and then it slowly just got deteriorated over the years. So that's why there's duct tape all over it.
Sounds
and it's
awesome.
Like, yeah, it's all ridiculous. So I just wear that during the sets, also because
It's like
I used to make
Slipknot.
I always used to make weird faces when I'd be playing guitar, like tapping, like doing something. And people would be like, "You're making like an orgasm face. Like, can you like?" And I was just like, my girlfriend said that to me, and I was like, all right, well, I'm wearing a mask from now on because that's weird as hell. And then I wore a mask to a show, like a regular bar. It was actually the Redmond Bar. And my pap, who unfortunately passed away, but he said to me at that show, he was like, you wear that mask. Keep wearing that mask. That's really cool. And I was like, if my pap thinks it's cool, like, we're doing it. So
that's awesome.
It just basically formed out of that. So liking Buckethead, liking V for Vendetta, thinking that I was cool because I was like, I'm going to get Anonymous. I'm cute. You know.
I like that shtick stuff in band. Like, Ghost is fun. My favorite band
right now. Ghost, they're
my
nuts.
favorite band right now is Steel Panther.
Oh my God!
And they're in costume the whole time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, my buddy like went to see them. I don't know if it was at that.
I've seen them 4 times.
Yeah, and he like hung out with them and like did all this stuff, and he said that they were like super fun. They're actually, the thing is like I'm not a huge like the parody stuff, but when like I've listened to them, they're very talented musicians.
Yeah.
Like, they're ripping, dude. Like, they're ripping.
Satchel's a beast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so when anybody's doing that, I'm just like, props, bro. Because,
Yeah.
like, I can't do that. You're ripping that solo. You know, all the musicians are solid. Like, you know, and I used to be way more like this band and Pink Floyd's the greatest. And if you don't like it, you're wrong.
I listen to everything.
Yeah, I try to listen to everything.
Dude, you know what I listened to the other day? I listened to because I listened to her interview on Howard Stern again. And then I caught, like, clips of her interview on Joe Rogan, like Miley Cyrus. I was listening to Miley Cyrus the other day.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. I used to say, whatever makes you feel good and makes you do like more positive things, and like do it. I listen to the Rocket League soundtrack right now. That's what because I love Rocket League. My buddy, he lives in Stroudsburg, Lee. We'll go home and we'll play Rocket League tonight, and like they just so. I listen to that because I get hyped up when I play Rocket League. So then when I listen to that stuff, I'm just like, it's just like, I don't want to say crappy, but it's just like EDM music. It's just like background, like dance music, whatever. And it's just like, but then when I turn that on in my regular life, I'm like, yo, let's go. Like, let's do something. So actually, when I pulled up here, I was listening to the Rocket League soundtrack. I'm like, get fired up. You're doing a podcast. Let's go. You know what I mean? So I'll do that. But then I also listen to like the Elder Scrolls soundtracks and like their like video game soundtracks, super classical stuff. I'm into like that. So yeah, I like to listen to everything except for modern country.
Yeah. There's certain country I can fuck with.
Oh, Johnny Cash. Yeah.
I like Zach Brown a lot.
I've never really listened to
Zach
him.
Brown's cool. And then who's got Chris Stapleton. But he doesn't sound like a country singer. That Tennessee Whiskey song.
Yeah.
You should hear it.
I don't
It's
listen.
good.
I don't have cable or listen to the radio.
You
so.
should listen to Tennessee Whiskey.
All right.
You should check it out.
Fair enough.
All right. Now you said your festival. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, it's called Threestival, and it's the worst name ever, but it just stuck because originally it was just my birthday, and I was like, yo, there was just like the festivals that were around that I used to go to at that time, like once I graduated, and I was like, what could I do? And I was just thinking to myself, man, there's just so many Grateful Dead things this weekend, like grateful for spring and grateful for this and grateful get down and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I kind of just like want to throw like a festival with some like rock bands and like some like more modern, like progressive stuff. Like I love the Beatles and the Grateful Dead and like all that stuff, but it was just like the festivals just like only playing like Grateful Dead music, I just thought was kind of weird. So I was like, so for my birthday, I'll just have a couple DJs come up and like all this kind of stuff. And I'm trying to think what the hell this guy's name was, but he was a world famous DJ, and then he was from Elysburg area, and he just showed up and played a set. God, I can't think of what the frick his name was, but it was just ridiculous. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you got this guy!" And I like pulled up his Facebook, and he had like 250,000 likes, and he just got done like touring like South America, and he came and just like did a set. So like 700 or 800 people just like showed up. It was just free, and I was like, "Dude, this is out of control." Like it was just out of control. I was just trying to think. I will definitely get you the name then, because it was just so ridiculous. He showed up in a limo. It had Christmas lights on the inside, and he was just like blazing, drinking like scotch on the inside with these glasses. Like, yo, what's up, man? Is it cool if like me and my two friends from the Czechoslovakia do a set? And I'm like, yeah, dude, sure. I was like, whatever. And then I'm just looking, and they're like, dude, there's a limo coming in here right now, and I'm like, what? You know. So
That's fucking sick.
yeah. Oh my God. Designer Drugs. That's what it is. Designer Drugs. That's what his name was.
And he just showed up.
He just like messaged me like the day of and was like, "Hey man, is it cool if I like, come play a set?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, whatever." And I didn't look at it.
Did you ever listen to that dude? I don't know why this. So I have like I do these weird ADHD things sometimes. But you ever listen to that Mark Reblet guy?
The musician guy that like is in
does,
with
like, the
like no
loop pedals?
shirt, and he's like, yeah,
Oh my
he's
God.
ridiculously talented, man.
I want to fucking see him live.
He's ridiculously
We should get
talented.
we should get him at your festival.
Yeah, dude. I would. He's probably too expensive, man. He's live. He's got like 10,000 people watching him.
We can get him. We can get him.
Yeah,
Just be
we're
like, listen, man, come on.
Yeah.
Come on and just party with us one night. He'll have a good time.
Dude, he would kill at Threestival. People would love that stuff.
I know at least 200 people in this area who
who
fell in love with him probably because of me and two other people who share his videos all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I appreciate anything that's unique. So that's just like completely unique. So it's like I don't hate on that because it's like I want to be something that music isn't. And then he creates his own music. And like there will be people that will do that stuff down the line, some form of that, obviously not that exactly, but will have an influence from him because they watched them as they grew up. Just like I play guitar like David Gilmour or Jimmy Page or Jimi Hendrix or Django Reinhardt because I watch their videos. It's the same thing, man. And he's just creating another thing of music and passing that torch. So whether you think, oh, it's stupid because he just curses and says like this and that, it's just like
look at that ass.
Yeah. I saw one of him like saying something ridiculous at like some like bar show with like 30 people there, and they're like sitting having dinner, and he's saying something like that.
Is that the one where he said Karen Tom's all alone? Or you ever see that one where it's it's this guy and his wife are fighting, and she goes through his phone and finds pictures of another girl, and he just a whole skit between him and himself about and then like he's like, get out of the house, get the fuck out, and then he's like, Tom's all alone, Tom's all alone, and
that sounds like exactly something he would do.
Yeah, it's so funny. But how many years have this festival been going, and usually what time of the year is it happen, or does it happen? Is it happen? I'm an idiot.
I think it is. No, I got you.
My Skook bot just came out.
Skook bot. I think this is the 6th year.
Holy crap!
So that was called Freestival because it was free, but then everybody trashed it. So then in October we tried to do it again, and everybody like trashed that place again. And we lost a bunch of money. So then the next year I was like, all right, let's charge like $30 to keep some of the riffraff out, $50 to get the riffraff out, and then
Some people don't realize that does a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
We honestly, that was the best thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do something free for people, and it's just like, but people, then you get people that come in and they were just trash and stuff, and they just came in because they knew they could just sneak in, and there was nobody watching, and nobody cared what they did. So people were always going to take advantage of that. So we got some of the riffraff out. Then that next year, we did one in the spring, one in the summer, and one in the fall. So 3. So then during that year, it became Threestival. We're going to have 3 a year because it wasn't free anymore.
That's some pagan shit.
Yeah, and it was
like
just,
it.
It was
you have like a midsummer show.
Yeah, and then I just kind of like this is such a terrible name, but then everybody just knew it. So then we stuck with it. So we actually did 4 events. We started doing 4 events. So we do one at a hotel. That we did that in January before COVID hit. It was so fun at Red Roof in Williamsport. We bought out the whole hotel, sold it out, and just had a music festival inside of it with you know what I mean? They got a pool, they got a workout room.
God.
You know what I mean? And we just had the catering room just rented out. So then we'd have breakfast for everybody, clear it out, and then bring bands in, and then everybody would and then we just had like costume contests. It was a alien party, so everybody dressed up like aliens. So we decorated the whole. The guy was so nice. Shout out to Nilish at Red Roof Inn. He's the man. He let us decorate the whole place, and like his whole family and staff like worked the whole weekend, and it was just like a blast. So we started doing that as our 4th event, but we do. I guess we're back to 3 outdoor again. So we'll do spring, summer, fall, May, August, October.
Did the fall one happen yet?
October 15th.
October 15th?
It's already sold out though. So
Is it?
Yeah, it's sold out. We sell out because it's
man.
$250.
I'm joking.
Yeah. No, hey man, we always have like a couple of people that we can bring it over. You're more than welcome to come.
Yeah, I want to come experience. I want to hear the music.
Yeah.
And your band plays?
We actually play twice. We're playing not acoustic this time. We're playing. I'm doing vocals with another guy. We're doing a full Tool tribute, and then the second night we're reuniting with our old drummer, and he's coming back. And we're doing this crazy progressive instrumental set with me playing guitar, and the guy that sings and plays lead. He's playing bass. Like it's ridiculous.
I love that shit, man.
Yeah. So look, we kind of like. That we randomly fell into that too. We were just like randomly picked it up at like a
What
jam.
are some of the bands that are playing this next show?
Def Scene, that's the band that's doing the Tool tribute. They're an amazing like instrumental act from like Maryland. Stonewall Vessels, they're an amazing rock band from Harrisburg. I'm trying to think. We got Whiskey Gypsy Committee. They're like a bluegrass from I think the Williamsport area.
I heard them.
Yeah. We have Jelly. They're like I can't even explain it. They play with like saws and like all this kind of crazy stuff. I try to get like the craziest music, like not crazy people, but like just off the wall like musicians. We have this band called Gray Valley. They're just like, I don't know. I just try to get really good musicians. Witchbone, they're like a rock band.
I could probably get for another show in the future. I can get you in touch with some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we used to have like 300-400 bands hit us up for Threestival every event, but right now. We probably only have about 50 because most bands aren't even operating. So I would appreciate more bands to pull from because your contacts are always limited. And obviously big bands aren't playing right now. So
I can get you like 6 bands.
Yeah.
Legit, like 6 that are good. And there's, I really like, they're not crazy, but like niche. We have one there. They don't play very often, but when they do, it's like a big deal.
Yeah.
But they're like a reggae rock band,
Ooh.
and they're called Gorilla Pack.
Nice.
They're fucking so much fun.
Yeah.
And like I said, we have I know acoustic acts, like 2-piece acoustic acts. I know. Like we have a lot of cool stuff in School County.
Yeah,
man.
and that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying before. The music scene. That's the one thing when I first got into time lapse and we're writing the music that I was talking about. I'm like, dude, we're so good. We're gonna be famous. And it's just like. Yeah, our music is really good, and I'm really, really proud of everything that we've ever put out. But there's so many other good bands.
Did you ever hear the Contact Collective?
No.
They're a band out of the Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area. He's like my little brother. Like we were raised, I pretty much watched him grow up. But it's his band, and they're like all a church band. But then like when they're not playing church services, they go out like bars and clubs and they play. And it's an all-black band except the bass player is a white dude, which is awesome because he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's definitely got some rhythm to hold it down. That's amazing.
Well, I walked in, I was like, Greg. I said, I thought the white dude was just carrying their shit in for them, and he starts playing. He picks up the bass, and I'm like, I know he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah,
he started laughing.
Amazing.
But they walked in. I booked them for Strikers in Pottsville.
Yeah,
and they walked in. And their first song they played was Nirvana "Smells Like Teen Spirit." It's a female singer, like I said, all black. Like everyone's like, "Oh, they're gonna play like R&B and all that." And they came out and they played like Lenny Kravitz and Mary J. Blige and Nirvana and Paramore, and people were like, "What the fuck is that?" Like they killed it. But they're a fucking fun band too. There's so much cool music in this area. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's definitely so many bands that I've come in contact with. I'm like, dude, how are you guys not like extremely famous?
Yeah,
because this is unbelievable. Like, because I watch bands and you just like the crap that's on the radio and stuff. It's pretty absurd. How are we doing on the chat?
Good. Dying down a little bit because we've been going pretty long. But no. If anyone has any questions, man, jump them in. Type in there. Let us know if you have any questions. So the last not the last, but just my main thing I want to talk about. Then we can kind of riff if you want for a while. The Office Festival. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to. I guess I'll just tell you the whole story again. Had a girl she wouldn't go out on a date with me unless I watched The Office. So I started watching The Office, became really obsessed, and then when they had the first Scranton Rap Fest, when the show first ended in Scranton, it was free, and I got to go up and meet a bunch of the cast, and that was really cool. So I got really attached to the show. So they announced this thing in Scranton, this Office Super Fan Fest, and right now it's scheduled for next year. It was supposed to be in July this year, but they grabbed a couple cast members and they announced this thing. So I was following it. I was definitely going to go. Then they came out with the prices, and I was like, I can't afford this. I'm poor and from the coal region. Like, is there any way that you could do day passes? And, a bunch of people were like, listen, they work really hard. You need to pay. And I'm like, okay, fine. Whatever. Then I get a message from this lady, and she's like, hey, I'm like the vice president of blah, blah, blah. And I would like for you to, I see that you run festivals and that you're from the area of Scranton. And I'm from I think she's from Kansas. I always forget.
It's a bunch of people putting an office festival from in Scranton, and they're not from the area.
I think one's from Connecticut, one's from Kansas, the other California. I think that was the three people I talked to.
I mean, just from your threefold, where you have like you pulled a Hobart, a whole hotel. Couldn't even say that.
Yeah.
And pulled that alien party off. Sounds fantastic. So I couldn't imagine you with your Office fandom, what you could accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always been the person to I was lucky enough to meet Dave Matthews. I met Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin. I just when I get in those situations, I just go, because it's like, dude, how many times are you gonna see Robert Plant? I was in a hotel and Robert Plant walked past me, and I'm just like, yo. And I saw him the night before. He played a show there. So, I was at the Borgata. He was staying there. So, the chances, but he walked past, and I was like, yo, that's fucking Robert Plant. And I'm not going to turn around and not go find him. And I went and found him, got a picture with him, got his autograph. You know what I mean? I'm going to do that stuff. So, other people, but my body just overtakes myself.
Yeah.
So, when that happened, I messaged her, and she was, she messaged me and said, oh, well, you look like you run festivals. You're from the area. We need somebody to maybe be a volunteer in that area. So I became a volunteer, and we're just doing stuff. And I was just working my ass off, finding other volunteers, because dude, I'm all about this. So we got cast members. I'm going to be hanging out with Troy Underbridge. I was going to be his personal assistant. That's the guy that's friends with Ryan in season 4. When they're doing cocaine in the night out, and he's just do not take him to a hospital, man. That guy,
the party where Michael crashes it because he's pissed that they did a satellite party.
Yeah, it's that season. Yeah. It's that season. Yeah, one of Ryan's associates, when he goes out and stuff, his name's Troy Underbridge. So I was actually going to be his personal assistant. So I worked up to that, and then she was like, yeah, so we're going to make it a volunteer coordinator. I did all that kind of stuff, and then she was just like, hey, I'm going to call up and see if I can get Steve Carell to sign a bunch of stuff for you, because you're the biggest Office fan we've ever met, even as big as we are. And it's just crazy. So he owns this random shop in Massachusetts. I can't think of the name of it right now. Sweet old lady and another lady run it. And she was like, yeah, he doesn't sign things, but because we can't send him in the mail, and he has some contract that he can't sign things. So would you be willing to drive up here? 7 hours it was. And it was just to get this stuff, he'll come in and sign a couple things for you. And I was like, yes, absolutely.
The band, the Wartime, isn't that the guy Dwight called a Hobbit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's him. Yeah. He's they're talking about Weevils. He's the one sitting next to him. Yeah. He's
the shorter guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was just dude, whatever it says to him. Yeah. That guy. I'm actually still scheduled to be if he comes to the next one, I'm scheduled to be his personal assistant for that. Nice. So I'll be hanging out with him. But
they had cool stuff, man. There was a Dundies award where if you paid your ticket, you actually get a Dundie.
Yeah.
We were really excited to get our Dundie.
Yeah, I actually helped come up with the list for that, the awards, the different type of awards, the kind of a bitch award, and
oh my god, I hope Heidi gets that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So basically,
can I look for Heidi Blackwell and put her in for the kind of a bitch?
Because basically what we do is we have a list of all the awards, and then we'll just randomly assign them to
make
people.
Sure Heidi gets
the kind of. I always say, maybe you should have got the kind of a bitch award. When he says that, I'm just like, dude, some of the lines in The Office are just the best written things ever. That's maybe he should have got the kind of a bitch award.
If you could win a Dundie, what would you want to win?
Ooh, of the ones that they were given.
I mean, hottest in the office is always funny.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
a dude always wins it.
Yeah. That's just like, Danny Cordray! And then when he loses that one time, and Ryan's like, what is even the criteria for hottest in the office? I mean, it's so subjective. I was just like, oh my God, it's so funny. The Extreme Repulsiveness Award that he gives. Maybe I want that when he gives it to Toby.
Yeah.
The Extreme. Oh, come on. Will Ferrell's reading it. He's like, oh, come on, man. Oh, wait, the Diabetes Award. That one was really good, too. That's all from the late Dundies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Such a fucking good show.
Oh my God, man, it's so good. But just to cut that story real fast, Steve Carell went in, signed that stuff, was super nice, and I got 2 really cool signed things from him: a magnet and a hat that says Steve Carell across it. So I'm a forever Office fan just because of that. Because I mean,
that girl.
Yeah,
Change your life.
Yeah, her name's Amber Collins. I'm still friends with her. I still work with her. She's literally an amazing lady. So.
Well, Amber, you're amazing.
Yes, Amber, thank you.
If you guys are still watching this, hit that share button. Let people know that this is still going on.
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button. Make sure you go follow. I mean, you probably already all do. There's like fucking 60,000 followers. You're killing it.
30,000.
So if you're Jim, are you sticking with you going with Karen? Or are you going Pam?
That's a really good question. I personally would probably pick Karen.
My man.
Yeah,
If Heidi's watching this, she's screaming upstairs.
Yeah. My thing with Pam is
she kind of sucks sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like I understand it because everybody's human and everybody, but I mean, she definitely defrauds the company and makes up her own. Like, if we really want to get into the theory of it, she defrauds the company and like makes up her own thing. So it says that she can be a dishonest person. She also did the thing with Ryan where she took the money for the college the college basketball thing where he's like, do you want $50 now or $3,000 a year from now? And she's like, probably the $50. And then they say about like he's going in on a bet. He knows a guy that knows an algorithm that will get every college basketball game right. And she's like, okay, like, so she's a little dishonest, which is, Karen was super upfront with him all the time and even cool with him when they found out that like Jim and Pam like made out and he had like a crush on her. She still like stuck it out and was like, hey, we're going to talk about this. We're going to figure it out. So the only thing that you could maybe perceive her as is like overbearing. Yeah. And it's just like, but she really wasn't. She just was trying to be nice to him, and he kind of just got into it because he was single and lonely and kind of screwed her and was just basically
she was a victim.
Yeah, she was a victim.
So I mean, a victim.
And then Jim and Pam kind of their arc in the 9th season drives me insane. I hate it. The thing with Brian, the boom guy, and like, oh, dude, I hate that stuff. It sullies my whole view of their relationship. It's like it was definitely added drama. Like the thing, it was just like, hey, can I see Cece's recital? It's just like, I didn't get it. Okay, well, I'll come home. I'll see you in 2 days. Like it's just like it was like I feel like they added it in to make it seem like they were having problems when they really could have just like talked and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
So that's where Pam was just like, you can't be gone, and it just kind of wears on you. And then it's just like, are they trying to allude that she slept with Brian? Because my way that I look at it is they have the thing, and then when
she knows where he lives.
She knows where he lives, and also they say, oh, yeah, Pam, you're friends with that guy. Why don't you go talk to the boom guy? Like, you know what I mean? When they say, oh, how much did they get of us? Like, the documentary. Why don't you go talk to the boom guy? You're friends with him. And, like, everyone kind of threw her under the bus, like, when they said that. So she knows where she lives, goes to see him, and he knows that the mics are going to pick her up, makes her go outside so that he could pick up what she's doing. So he's obviously being manipulative because he did that. And also when they were talking about him getting divorced with Jim and Pam there, he was like, we got to stop meeting like this when we're crying in front of each other. He definitely threw that at Jim.
Yeah, a lot of undertones.
And so what are they trying? That's the thing was like, what were the writers trying to allude to? That she was being dishonest and unfaithful, because that's what it looks like, because he's like, oh, let me get you a beer, and they like get a beer and they go step out in the thing, and he's like, so she's like, so you're basically telling me that we didn't have any privacy for 10 years, and he was like, well, no, and she's like, okay, I gotta go, and she immediately like puts the beer down and walks out. So why would she react like that when it's just all of that together just alludes to me that like maybe she did something. Maybe she didn't cheat on him physically, but she definitely cheated on him like emotionally.
Yeah.
So then that kind of just, and I think that's just as bad. I always say Dr. Phil, who's obviously ridiculous, but he always said cheating is defined of you doing something in front. If your spouse or girlfriend was there and you wouldn't do that if she was standing there, then that's cheating.
Yeah.
That means you're being dishonest.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was a hot girl standing here, or whatever. You know what I mean? And like you did something. Would you do that in front of your wife? So that's really.
I would almost like if I was in a situation and someone got like drunk and had a random hookup with a stranger, I can let that go.
Yeah.
Like I would suck, but I'd be like, he fucked up. You're human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes things happen and you get caught up in the moment. But if like you engage in conversation and you're putting time into
it's just as bad, man.
Yeah,
It actually, like you said, it's worse because you're taking the mental part of yourself and putting it into another person.
Make me hate Pam more.
Yeah, yeah, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like where it was like where Jim, when clearly when
what's her name?
Florida, when she came into the thing, he was clearly trying to be like, yo, like I don't want anything to do with this.
He was in a weird spot too.
Yeah, because what is he supposed to do?
Like I'm not trying to sound like Casanova, but I've been in situations where I'm being nice, but I don't want to be perceived because I'm very outgoing, and it sometimes gets perceived as being flirty.
Yeah.
But I treat everyone the same. Like I treat a girl the same way I treat my dude friends. Like if when we're friends, I'm a hug. Like I walk up, I give you a hug, and I think that sometimes gets perceived the wrong way. So like then you're like, well, no, they're not hitting on me. We're just being friendly.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
and then you're not sure.
And then you're like, well, if I say please stop hitting on me, then they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Not
you're a
fucking
weirdo. And that's what she did right away. She's like, I know you have a wife. I sat next to her, you like goon. And then she literally like leans on him like right after. And she's like,
yeah. It was one of those.
So I feel like he handled that situation pretty good, whereas I feel like Pam handled that situation really bad. And it's just. But also too,
I love how we just took a whole office turn. This is amazing.
Yeah. I just feel like, but also Jim. I feel like Jim was a little bit of a creep too. Obviously, he was flirting with a girl while she was still engaged, and like he kind of had like creepy vibes a couple of times with like things that he said
where he pickled her, picked her up.
Yeah, and just like little things where he took it a little too far, where he kind of seemed like he was a little bit of a stalker. Not like a stalker, but like just like he was definitely into her way too much. Like, yo, dude, she's engaged. Like, be friends with her, but like. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's always you look at it, but like that one episode when he was like, so if we can get Dwight to like dye his hair and go, and it was the Alliance episodes in the first season, and he like grabs her hand and like puts his arm around her, and they're like laughing together. And I was just thinking to myself, like, there's no need. You could just joke. He wanted to touch her. He wanted to just like the thing what you said when he picked her up. Because like, oh, you're gonna hit me? Like, oh, let me pick you up, and your shirt came up, and the first time she's like, put me down, 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 and then like the seventh time, then he puts her down.
Yeah.
So it's like he pushed it.
We're really analyzing the office. I like this.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, I probably watched the show.
Find a man like Bob Vance refrigerator.
Yeah, nobody. Bob Vance and Phyllis maybe are the best. They're the best couple. I always say they're the most loving. They're probably in the most love out of everybody.
Yeah.
You have everybody.
It's definitely not Stanley and his wife.
Yeah.
It wasn't Dwight and
This
Angela.
is my wife, Terry. The girl that I'm holding, Michael. Because she's white and he can't do it. Like, it's so funny, dude. Oh, God.
If I was Dwight, I would have stayed with the milkmaid at the end.
Milkmaid, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm all about Angela.
Really?
I just think she is just a fox, man. I have.
Did you ever listen to Office Ladies podcast?
Yeah,
it's really good. I have to pick it back up.
She's exactly the opposite of what
she's super sweet.
And that's what I'm saying. If I can marry her, I'd marry her.
When she's in the little nurse outfit, the one episode, remember she dressed up as a nurse and she's like.
Yeah, she's a cutie. That's why she's just like a cute older lady, and because she's uptight and Christian and stuff,
Meredith looks good after the show ended.
Yeah, well, they tried to like make her look more plain Jane.
Yeah.
They did that with all of them. Like even Pam, like Pam's like a lot. Like I saw her.
What was the movie where she was with Christina Applegate and she's wearing like the lingerie in the one scene? It was like, God damn, Pam.
She's Blades of Glory. I only know of her Blades of Glory. She dresses up in lingerie because she's forced to make Will Ferrell cheat. Yeah. Like to like screw up their thing, and he's sitting there, and I remember
it's not
that.
Jenna Fisher, it's Pam Beasley all the time.
Yeah. So,
and it's funny that Jim and Roy are like best friends in real life.
Are they really?
Yeah, they always hang out. They go to games together.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Did you see the thing where they got the whole cast together for the person's during COVID? They wanted to get married and they couldn't. But they're big Office fans, so Jim has that like online show where he just tries to find
good
positive
news.
Yeah. And he had the whole entire cast Skype call in, and they recreated the dance from the Jim and Pam's wedding, and they were married on a Zoom call.
On a Zoom call,
and the entire
by
cast
the Office.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. I would totally do that.
Yeah.
But then again,
did the Office ever make you cry?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
me too.
I would have to say at some point.
There's a few episodes that'll get you.
I think see the thing is the only thing that makes me feel emotion is some like really good lines will ever make me feel emotion. It won't make me cry, but music has a way of obviously. So when the first time I watched the season finale and Creed plays that song he wrote specifically for The Office.
Yeah.
And
you knew
it's called
everybody.
Faces in the Dark or whatever.
No one's acting in that scene. That's
No,
legit.
well, yeah, well, actually, I talked to when I talked to the cast members, and luckily enough, the people that I've gotten to interact with, I said to them, "What did you guys do?" And everybody that I talked to, they wrote it themselves. Everything in the last episode, their dialogues, everything is written as them as a human and not as their Office characters.
It was the greatest season finale to a show.
It was just so good. And then so when I knew that and then went back and watched it, and then Creed's playing that song, I was like, dude. The only thing that bothers me is that Michael's not there. Michael needs to be there in that scene, but he's not. But that was because he was signed on for 7 years, and then NBC never offered him a contract for an 8th year. So he was kind of, I feel like, a little shitty and salty when he came back and was just like, "Yeah, I'll be in one scene, and then screw you guys." He
didn't even say anything. He
just well, he said that's what she said.
He mounts it. He doesn't even say it.
Yeah, and then he says, "I feel like my family." All got married and grew up and had kids.
All my kids
grew up and got married or something. Yeah, and that's it. He don't say. Yeah, he doesn't say anything else. But the finale was very, very good.
Michael leaving gets me.
Yeah, I skip
Ball, but I get like, oh god,
yeah. I actually skip them. I skip the Goodbye Michael because it's not a funny episode. It's just emotional the whole time. So like in the scene with Jim,
the wedding, Pam and Jim's wedding is good.
Yep, I skipped that because I'm just like I haven't had a girlfriend in years, and I'm just like completely alone. So like you watch that and you're like they're so happy. So I'm like, screw this.
We were just at a wedding over the weekend, me and my wife, and her aunt got married, and the pastor was like, always take in the greatest moments of your life and take like mental images of what's going on. And I looked at her and I went like this. She like started bawling. I just looked at her like this, and she started bawling. And everyone's like, "What?" I'm losing it.
Yeah, because that's why. Yeah, I like it. It's just either you get it or you don't. But that's the mental pictures from the wedding. Yeah,
it's such a good show. But I can't wait for that. I'm pumped to go to that. I think it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, I don't know who they're gonna get again. But last time it was like Stanley and. I'm hoping that they get Meredith. That would be really great. And then basically what they told me is they're going to do 1 year of recurring role characters, and then the following year they're going to get. I probably shouldn't even be saying this. Steve Carell or Rainn Wilson. But Steve Carell is the target.
Yeah,
he's actually easier to work. He's the easiest to work with, and he has a home in Massachusetts, which is closer. Rainn's just out on the West Coast. So, and Rainn's like doing his own thing.
I bet you Jennifer Fisher and Pam and Ange would Angela would 100% do it. They're like still very consumed with the show.
And I wish I would love. Honestly, if I could do it, I would literally. If I had the choice, I got to talk to Stanley, or his name's Leslie Baker. I got to talk to Leslie a couple times. Dude, he is literally the nicest person I've ever met. He sent me like a video message.
He just had that stuff where people were getting super racist with him on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm always out of touch with this kind of stuff.
It sucks, man. He was like, he made a post about something, and someone went super racist on him. And they're like, who's the asshole that got racist with Stanley from The Office?
Seriously. He's literally, he sent me a video and he was like, I can't wait to like come to do the Office super fans. I hang out with you, Anthony, and we're going to have like a good time and like whatever. And I have the message and I'm just like, dude, this is like ridiculous.
You should both wear Hawaiian shirts like you're Florida Stanley.
Stanley Florida smiles. That's honestly, Florida Stanley is like one of the best like just like random things they put into the show.
This is a tough question. So if you had to pick your top 5 favorite cast members, who would they be?
Dwight, Michael 1 and 2, no matter what, because I can relate to them the most.
Yeah.
Then after that, it gets hairy because it's just like I don't know. I'm gonna have to take out Pam. I'm gonna put in Angela. I would say Angela's 3rd, Creed 4th, Meredith. Maybe that's what I would do. It's so tough because I do really like Oscar and Kevin. They're great. they were all really close friends in life. That's why that's why they were made accountants, because they were all friends. They were all friends that worked with each other over the years.
I think didn't they help each other get in their actual roles?
Yeah, and Angela used to work on some kind of show with Kevin, and Oscar did like appearances on it. So they were always
for how much they filmed in California, they did a great job still incorporating stuff in Pennsylvania. Like it's crazy to me still. Like it's such a worldwide popular show, but like living out here, and it's kind of like, even though it's not School County, but it's still like a stone throw away. It's still, it feels like it's like the show is made for you.
Oh yeah, I feel like I think all the time, and it's like these are coal region people that they're representing. Like they're trying to create that. And
they
honestly,
nailed it. Like
Dwight
longest kills the Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yep.
He murders it.
Yeah.
He's so good.
And honestly, for the longest time, I actually thought they filmed in California. So that's how, I mean, not until I really got into the show and looked at it, and I was like, man, they do a good job.
Yeah.
They really do a good job. But then now when I look at it, I'm like, oh, the types of trees are not even close here. Because now I'm just, a freaking.
But they do the mall in Steamtown. They do like the bar. They do
Pitcher's
come.
Pub. Yeah,
they do come.
That's what I said for my 30th birthday. I went to like Alfredo's I went to Pizza by Alfredo's. The only thing is there's not two Alfredos. There's only one. But dude, that might be like the best Italian food I've ever had, and I'm Italian. And
really,
dude, and it's pet friendly. So I had my girlfriend had a dog at the time, my ex-girlfriend, and we went and like sat outside and got like the same pizza they get in the show, and like it's awesome. And then we went and drank at Pitcher's Pub, and like they have like pictures of a cast there. The cast came one time and like took pictures there and stuff. Like it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go. I would go Dwight, Jim, Daryl.
Ooh, Daryl is a great one.
I love Daryl.
Yeah.
Meredith, and I don't know, like, and probably Michael.
Yeah, you got to throw Michael.
Yeah,
in there.
one of my favorite episodes is the dinner party when he pulls that fucking tiny TV out.
And you see that you got a guess, and you just went, boom, got more room. Yeah, there's like a deleted scene, and they can't handle it. It's just too much. See, you got more people, you need more space. Boom. And he goes, sometimes I will just stand here and watch TV for hours. Like
she throws the Dundee at him. He goes, "You're gonna owe me $75."
Yeah. He goes, good luck paying me back on your $0 salary plus benefits, babe. And then he goes, we heard, and then the cop goes, we heard a lot of shouting. He goes, no, my girlfriend just threw a Dundee at my TV.
Do you want to press charges?
Yeah, do you want to press? No, you could just. He goes, well, you could just try to be more quiet. Like it's just too funny.
That your band should cover Hunter's song.
What's that? Oh yeah. That's so funny.
Someone's band needs to cover Hunter's song.
You know what's so funny too is you can tell that that's not his voice, and it's like a 40-year-old dude singing that song. So it just makes it so weird when I'm listening to it, because like you listen to Hunter's voice and you can tell he's like 16. He's like in the show, he's probably like 18.
Yeah.
And
how about that? Yeah. Like that's some pedophilia in the show.
Yeah, There's actually a couple of like. First of all, the show could never, ever, ever be on the air now. One thing that I never noticed was Clark in the 9th season with Aaron when he makes her like wear like a low cut top and he wants to do the news.
He was like taking advantage of her.
He was doing the newscast and he wanted to be alone with her and like all that stuff.
Creepy shit.
And Pete or Plop or whatever was like, he went there to like make sure everything was okay, and then like that's how the arc with him and Aaron.
And then they kind of played into the fact that Jen likes younger men, so they brought him in to be like the sex servant.
Yeah, that was also weird too. Yeah, and because they never really like say that her and Hunter were together. It's just kind of alluded to, and then that's like the solidified because they bring him in and then he goes, he's been growing that mustache for 3 weeks, and she goes, turn around, and I was like, what? You know, that's what's like. And I mean, there's some like very racist stuff on there and everything.
Well, you know the one episode Michael was going to do when he was trying to be as cool as Daryl. Yeah. There's actually, if you look, there's actually black makeup on his neck. So Michael was going to do blackface,
but then they didn't. Well, I have.
Well, he wasn't going to, but like they alluded that he was going to.
Oh, like he was like ready to do it. Oh, I gotta look for that.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, jerk. That's what he's like. Oh, I'm from the warehouse and I'm a jerk. But the one thing that was deleted from the show, I have because I do the dark web sometimes, so I got some of the like extra. There's like a joke about being molested and like forgetting about it. It's really bad. Michael says it's like, oh, you just forget about it, like being molested, like toxic shock syndrome. That's what he says, and I was like, And toxic shock syndrome is when you don't go to the bathroom and you die. But he was like, yeah, where you just like get molested and forget about it. And I was like, whoa, that could never be on the show. So I'm pretty sure that was never on the show. And there's also another one in the Christmas episode, in the 9th season, where what's his face, the warehouse guy, Nate, he dresses up in blackface and because he was like, are you really being like whatever? What is he? He's that Pennsylvania Dutch dude that's like Santa. He's like, are you really being him? Because as you can see here, like, you know, his sidekick is a guy in pantaloons and blackface, and it cuts to Nate getting out of the car in full blackface, and he's walking into the building, and Dwight texts him and says, yo, go home. Yeah. And then he goes home, and then later in the episode, Nate's in there, and he has, like, everything but the makeup on, so it's, like, alluded that he was, you know what I mean, there, and, like, they had to cut that out. There was no way that made the show. So there's a couple one, and there's also one where Michael acts like he kills himself, like he hangs himself. I don't know if you saw the Halloween one where the Facebook where Jim's wearing book face on his thing, and it's like a deleted scene. It was like an opening scene, and Michael is literally wearing the Justin Timberlake dick in a box thing. That's what he dresses up as. He hangs himself, and as the kids are going by the trick and treat ride, he's like, oh, and he's like, suicide is never the answer, kids. And I was just like, wow, what the fuck is going? And that
it was like 2005, 2000.
Yeah, and then they have the scene where he says the guy from the Middle Eastern guy comes in and he thinks he's bombing the place, and he's just the IT tech guy. Yeah. Like, oh my God, dude, that stuff could, and that was 2 years after September 11th. Like, oh my God, did they push the envelope?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that show did, man. It was,
and it's genius all for it, because like if you can just be normal and just take a joke and understand that like things are funny, people are funny, voices are funny, you know what I mean? Like voices that aren't like your voice are funny. People that listen to a Coal Region guy go, I'm down Jose to get 2 3 beers, boy. You know what I mean? Like people think that's funny, but to me it's normal. I hear it all the time. So it's like, you know, people just need to lighten up and not be offended. But like a show like The Office could never exist now. So,
and if you are offended, have a conversation about it.
Yeah,
find out why you're offended, and then meet somebody halfway. Because what you may be offended by, the other person that's doing it may not even realize they're doing it.
Yeah,
like I didn't learn until like almost my mid-20s that like growing up a white dude in a Coal Region, it was all gay slurs and using
me too,
and calling each other words that were used for people with mental disabilities.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely, dude. I still that's the way I was grown up. That's just what you said.
It's not right, but it's like you didn't know better.
You didn't know any better. And then honestly, what changed for me, I went to college and I went to Penn State, and then like you're put in with like different race groups, gay people, straight people, anything, and it's just like, yo, you're gonna
say, you're like, what's wrong with you? You're like, I didn't know that was a bad thing.
Exactly, and then it's just like, and then it became a great thing, because then you become friends with these people, and you realize there's just another person going through the same stuff, but they just interpret it different, and it has shaped them differently.
Yeah,
and it's like there's nothing wrong with them, and then that kind of just completely, then it was just like I was almost drawn to those people to be like, you guys are fascinating. Like, tell me more about, and
I'm just fascinated by people's cultures or people from different towns.
Oh my God. Or just like anybody from like out of the country, or just like, I met this girl. I ended up taking her to her prom and like all this kind of stuff, and her graduation and all this stuff. And she was from Brazil, and we just like randomly met on chat roulette with my friends. We were just like, and we like these Brazilian girls, and they're like, oh, let's be friends, like whatever. And then randomly, like 2 years later, she messages me on Facebook, and she's like, hey, I'm doing like a couple years abroad in like America. And I was like, really, where? And she's like, Pennsylvania, York. I was like, what? So she's like an hour and a half away. So we like dated for like a little bit, and like it was fun. Then she moved out to California and married some like big Navy commander, and now I'm in smoking still. Kind of screwed that one up. Yeah, she was a fox, but I screwed that one up.
So anything in closing here you want to put out there or talk about?
No, I mean, like I said, if you want to check out Hobart News, I mean, we're basically just an outlet that tries to just show what's happening with the least amount of bias. And we're just going to keep chugging along. Our 1 year anniversary is in November. And we're just trying to get, we have like a supporter group. So if you join our supporter group, you get in this VIP group. And then anytime like news happens, I kind of send you like a text message, like a Facebook update to say that's like an exclusive thing. And you get some exclusive videos and stuff like that. And that's probably going to be the best way for us to like expand, things like that. So
and the merch is coming.
Yeah, and the merch. But yeah, I mean, like I said, just check out Hobart News. You'll find me.
Your cartoon logo is coming soon too.
Yeah,
I got a message mid podcast.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get you a cool logo.
Yeah, somebody draw me. I actually was lucky enough to be drawn for Medusa's Disco. They did a cartoon 4-way drawing.
I don't know if you see it. Oh, it's on my thing. That's me as a devil.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to check. I'm out of Hobart stickers, but
whenever you get one.
Yeah, I was just like, we just ordered a bunch, but yeah, I gotta put one on here.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, this table's always open.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, absolutely. I have anxiety. I'm like slightly bipolar. I have OCD, obviously, with all this stuff, and like very weird, and like being. So I was very. The first reason I put it off because I was just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then I just told myself today, put some Rocket League music on and start driving and like do it.
So doing this now, this is obviously 91. I definitely can see your nerves in the beginning. And then like you could definitely see when you're like a guest, and like then they forget the lights are there and the camera's there,
Yeah.
and they kind of look at the table more and they get more comfortable, and you can see that switch flip, and then that just turns into a conversation, and it definitely happened. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first in-person podcast I've ever done. I did one like over, but there's no comparison to this. Like talking over the internet just doesn't. It was just like a me talking to a computer screen. You know what I mean? And here it's like you're right here, dude. I have problems with eye contact, but there's times I had to look at you. You know what I mean? It's just like, so it's forcing me out of my comfort zone, which is good. It's only going to make me better.
You did fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Sure. If you say so, man. Yeah, no, it was fun, man. I appreciate you having me. I, again, don't think I'm interesting and I just kind of like
I think you're very interesting. I think you've done cool things. I think your music festivals are really cool. I'd love to.
Yeah, you should definitely come out and you'll have a blast, dude. We have
send me when it is, just like because you have to remind me because I have so much going on.
Yeah,
but I will 100% show up.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to collab more with you. I think
absolutely.
we could do cool stuff and and work with each other. If you have things you want to plug or anything like that, this table's always open. You can come hang out.
I can't think of anything good to plug other than just go check out Hobart News or Time Relapse. Listen to Time Relapse. That would be nice.
I don't have Time Relapse in here, but I will add it after.
Yeah, it's on Spotify, so we're on everywhere, so you can. And like I said, we have like so many albums, so you'll find something that is whatever that would be like high energy for the music or whatever. You'll find something, but yeah, I always get excited. Like we have like 60 monthly listeners on Spotify. So I'm just like, dude, 2 people a day are coming in to be like, yo, I want to listen to this band. So I'll take that. You know what I mean? So like I said, the Hobart thing will take care of itself because people want the news. So,
yeah. Well, I hope the fans of yours who also are fans of mine, I hope we scratch that itch. I hope people. I hope it lived up to the hype.
Yeah, I know.
You're like the first hyped up guest I had. Like you know how like with people like Rogan, you got to get this guy on.
Oh, we need Alex Jones for the 9th time.
Yeah,
but that's me.
No, people really wanted this, and I always tell people like, send me who you want, and I will try my best to get them on the show. And this is like the first call of action. And I'm happy to have him, man. I think you're a cool dude. I enjoyed having you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll do it again sometime.
All right. Well, interviews with everyday people. Make sure you guys check the links below. Everyone who hung out, shared, all that fun stuff. I'm super thankful you guys are here. Make sure you follow those links. If it's your first time here, we hope to have you back soon. And we'll see you guys next time. Here's some Mahantango.
Circumstances that my mind allows, I'll find my footing somewhere. I don't know how, but I know I'm better now. I'm just a product of the man I was back then. With foresight, I laughed, I'd break my back to try again. It's time I made amends with myself. No one else, I won't give this that time as well. I keep chasing possibility, but I'll catch it when it comes around.